Number 9, he is cheap with his dates. Oh man, he's the biggest guy. Oh, I don't want to send them to resorts. That's too much. That's a honeymoon phase.
I don't want to be distracted with, oh, let's go do a resort thing, whatever, because that's kind of a honeymoon experience. I mean, I'll do simple stuff like, hey, let's just go to the park, get some ice cream.
Like, I'd rather take him to the park and eat ice cream.
Get down to the Mercado.
Really? That's being a cheap Charlie, man. Why not get a girl, go to the pool, go to a resort, enjoy your life.
Get down to the Mercado.
And the worst case scenario would be you would just have a companion and nice memories.
Get yourself
it's
into
not
town.
that hard. Resorts are not cheap. Philippines is not that expensive place to actually, do all these things that are accessible to a lot of expats.
Mm-hmm. But if they're your bar girl, I'm just in it for the money, this is really boring, you can see it on their face. And you can weed out the ones who are like, oh, really? You're taking me to a grocery store kind of a thing? Couldn't we go to the club? It's like, now you know what you're dealing with.
But there he is. Oh, do not take him to resorts. Do not take him to nice restaurants. Take him to barbecues. I can get what he is implying, but at the same time, he's messing up his own life just by eating cheaply and going to the cheap places and actually, not enjoying his life to the fullest. He doesn't enjoy these little things. All right. Number 10, misinformation about Philippine culture. Oh yeah, that is big time. Especially when there's a lot of stuff going on with the culture. For example, the acceptance of age gap relationships and all that, and he hides behind it. There is a lot of acceptable age gap relationships because 1, there might be Muslim. 2, it's a really needy family who really needs to sell her daughter. Or 3, it's just a freaking pro, and a lot of Filipinos don't judge. But 9 times out of 10, these Filipinos, regular Filipinos, a college educated, or any girl who actually has a job and sees a Filipina her age with a 50 to a 60 plus year old man like Ricky, what are they gonna say? Oh, she's a prostitute and she's hanging out with this guy.
And there's this heavy bias and even bigotry against any older guy who's with a younger woman. And the immediate assumption is, oh, she's just with him for the money. They think it's always about money, and it's not.
You get it? So, but he comes off to say, oh, it's normal to see expats with young girls. It's so normal. He paints this picture for these expats that never been to the Philippines.
When Filipino women, young women, attractive women, see an older guy, foreigner in his 50s, his 60s, is an attractive choice for a mate.
Paints it so wonderfully. But he doesn't know the shit. I mean, if he really he believes this is true, why is he moving out of these cities all the time? So when he was back in Dumaguete, there's this story where he used to stalk a singer. Almost every night, he used to always stalk this girl. So it was getting creepy for her. So she called in her boyfriend. And the boyfriend threatened to kill him, threatened to destroy him. And it's funny, he ran out of town. So yeah, he's always getting into trouble. This is coming from his girl, one of his call girls. Kimmy, she's actually featured on the scammer Old Dog's New Tricks channel. She was actually telling him that the guy is dangerous. You better run out of town. Like, the guy is dangerous and he's not to mess with. So he skipped out of Dumaguete.
I've run into my problems with province girls as well, but not as badly. Chances are they don't know each other. You just get a fresh start.
Why is he always getting different relationships with different women all the time? Because they dump them, or it's a family. The family breaks them up, or something like that going on. It's not because, and yeah, a lot of his videos always blames the girl for some reason. And it's not that. You know, the culture is there. The internet is there. You guys can research this.
You want to look at kind of one of the cons, negatives about marriage. Responsibility is one of them. Because if you don't want more responsibility, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Believe me. I mean, I've lived a lot. I've been divorced, I think, now for about 12, 14 years. And living my life without any responsibility for the most part.
A lot of Filipinos, you guys can make polls yourselves. They believe that, you know, older man with a younger Filipina girl is just pretty much sick. They can't judge on it. I mean, you could see true love versus the convenience. I mean, come on, Filipinos are not born yesterday, man. They know. Going to number 11, disenfranchises Filipino men. The first time I encountered Ricky was when I was in California, and a lot of Filipino American guys were like, check out this other guy, man. He's Hispanic like you. So I check him out, and I secretly liked it, and I told him, yeah. And in Pampanga also, when I'm here in Pampanga, some of my Filipino friends, they're also saying the same thing. Like, I watched this guy, also, he's like a Mexican, and he's always saying Filipino guys this, Filipino guys that, and we're better, you know, like that in their accent, of course.
You know, a young Filipino guy works out. How come, you know, why are you with me and not with him? And the answer is always the same. Well, the young guys are cheaters. And if they're good looking, guaranteed they're cheaters. And they recognize, well, he's still going to school. He doesn't even have an income yet. I don't want to end up like my cousin, you know, out in a nipa hut in the jungle with 3 kids and we're just watching a rice field grow.
And these are the things Filipino guys notice. And Filipino guys tell me from US and here in Philippines. He does disenfranchise a lot of Filipino guys, saying, oh, we're here, we got the ticket, so they know we're already, you know, we have some money.
She's flattered by the fact that a foreigner took time to talk to her, but she's not going to give me her number or go anywhere with me because she's got a boyfriend. But she's going to keep that hidden and she's going to enjoy the moment.
He's justifying like he's the big time baller.
We come out on top of that equation as foreigners who can afford to spend a couple of $100 or $1,000 to get here in the first place. So we've already pre-qualified the fact that we're here. We can afford the flight. And they see how we live. You know, we live in nice condos, we go to nice restaurants, and we don't think anything about it because that's our lifestyle. Whereas the young Filipino guy, you know, maybe he becomes somebody, maybe he doesn't. Maybe he gets her pregnant with a few kids and bails.
I don't know how you can justify yourself being a big time baller, but then you take out these girls to eat barbecue at a stall. Like, it's kind of sick, man. And then you're telling them that they're young and a lot of them are not that educated and they don't know if they're going to be somebody and a lot of them run away.
It's hard for them to understand being with a younger woman unless it's with, say, a young prostitute.
It's pretty sick, man. I don't know how you can try to over-glorify yourself and use your expat status. Frick, eh?
You know, you go down the mall, Filipinos, I mean, they see an older expat with a Filipina, especially here at Cebu, Ayala malls. They see that every 10 seconds.
Number 12, hypocrite on deadbeat dads. Yeah.
Even though there are runaway expat guys, for the most part, we have the reputation that not only do we treat women with a bit more respect, but we stick around. If we have a kid, we get married or not, but we stick around, we provide for the kid. And
he called me a liar in his live stream. This was like a few days ago.
You know, Gio, the same thing, you know. And the reason I mention that is because there's this stupid rumor going around that my buddy Gio had, like gotten some girl pregnant and then dumped her and all this, which the person making that claim, it just goes to show they make this stuff up. Because not only do I know Gio personally, I know he has the type of character, he would not do that to a girl. But supposedly this happened like, a couple months ago, and she had this baby from him. Well, Gio got his vasectomy years ago, like 5-6 years ago. But the guy who was spreading this rumor, slander really, that he had abandoned her with a baby, didn't know that. So proof positive that these idiots that run around slandering vloggers, trying to get some views, they're making this stuff up. I mean, flat out. And they got cold busted with it, with this whole rumor about Geo, because he can prove, and he's sent to me, you know, the vasectomy, you know, they have, when you get a vasectomy, then afterwards they do a test to make sure there's no more swimmers in there. And it's got 0,0,0,0,0, you know. So without a doubt, this is one of those times where a troll got busted with his pants down because he made up a lie that is impossible to be true.
Obviously telling me that Geo had a vasectomy, but you know what? The dude has swimmers. The dude, he doesn't know how vasectomy works. I personally know the girl that is pregnant by him. You know, she's a nice province girl, and Ricky most likely knows her. His friends know her. You know, in your circle, Ricky, come on. You guys know her.
Filipina comes in with her whole heart, gives
Good
herself
here.
full of sincerity,
Nice.
and then they just dump her 2
Pretty
months
big
later.
and
You
nice.
know, that I don't
Yeah,
really
like
have.
here.
And you all know she's a good girl. But then, now this guy, Geo, runs away, and all of a sudden, you think it's not him? Vasectomies, you can still get a girl pregnant by a vasectomy, man. You can still have a faulty vasectomy. I had friends who actually got a vasectomy and they got the girl pregnant. So it's true. I challenge this to Geo. If I'm a freaking liar, go to the baby mama, tell her you want a DNA test and prove it to me. If you want to call me a liar, I'll pay for it. I'll pay for the DNA test out of my own pocket, okay? So your ass can be asking for coffee funds, asking child support money to your audience, and it's okay, you can pay your child support, but be a responsible freaking man and don't be a deadbeat dad. This is the thing, man. A lot of his videos, they be saying how deadbeat fathers, he has no tolerance for them, they are evil, Filipinos, they run away. He has no tolerance for them, or he has no friendships with them, or he blocks them. But then there he is. Number 13, uses money for women.
Get yourself into town.
It's easy, uses money to get women.
You know, she doesn't do her calculations based on he looks like Brad Pitt or not. We do. You know, we want the most attractive girl we can get. That's how we are. We're not marrying women for money. We're not marrying women for money. We're not marrying women for money. And it's not a bad thing.
Obviously, he's teaching you in his bachelor course, how to get women, right? Obviously, he knows the tricks of the trade, so obviously he goes and picks up.
She's coming into this relationship attracted to the fact that you're financially stable.
He uses his financial stability to glorify the age gap relationships. So, number 14, too many sexual allegations. Yeah, that's a big one.
And it's so common that it's not a big deal.
I used to be a big time subscriber of his, and of course, you know, I used to actually be one of those guys that actually used to defend him on the blogs and stuff. And what's funny is that when I met him in Dumaguete, I thought, you know, he was a swell guy, but then later on he's telling me that one time he picked up a minor by mistake, and then he had to move out of one apartment.
There's all kinds of girls here. If you're single and you come here, there's a lot of girls here. You might want to avoid them though. Some of them are trouble. I had a little 17-year-old last night tried to hook up with me, and I told her no, she needs to go back home to her mother and stay off the boardwalk.
Because I guess the girl, she was like 16 or 17. She actually was in a little shabu gang or something, right? And I'm like, whoa, that got me. And I kept quiet about it for years. And you know, even if I did say something before, I didn't even have a platform until now.
Just spend like a whole day and keep your eyes open and make sure she's of legal age, of course. I tried dating younger girls, all of legal age, of course. I don't, there's a lot of people spreading some rumors and such that you may have heard about, but they're all untrue. I wouldn't put myself in that position. Legally of legal age, over 18.
Happened. This is what they're saying about you.
Not true.
These aren't old rumors.
Not true. Whether they're old rumors, new rumors,
Why would they say
future
this about
rumors,
you?
not true.
And correct me if I'm wrong, that you have never held anybody against their will.
I don't need to. Why would I?
Well,
How stupid would it
never
be
held
for R.
anybody.
Kelly, with all I've been through in my way past, to hold somebody? How stupid would I be to do that?
I didn't say
That's
you're holding...
stupid, guys.
I didn't...
Is this camera on me?
Yes, it's on.
That's stupid. Use your common sense. Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense. How stupid would it be for me to, with my crazy past and what I've been through?
There's a lot of people spreading some rumors and such that you may have heard about, but they're all untrue. I wouldn't put myself in that position.
Yeah, he did tell me that. I used to be a big fan and a big subscriber of his until he told me that, and I never was seen his videos until later. He came up with his birthday video, 57 years old, and that's when I'm like, the memory came up because I saw B, and B looked really young.
Preference is younger women, say in their early 20s, which is my preference. I was happiest and my personality does best with a woman about 20, 24.
The other YouTuber with all these allegations was Mark Catley. Mark Catley, Bebots only, he had plenty of these. But this guy, he's like the second, most, and he keeps pumping it out, and he doesn't realize it.
Again, I know many will not agree because they don't even agree with the idea of dating a much younger woman.
Ricky, if you want to do a lawsuit or whatever, I'm right here. I've been sending you messages. You got my messages, right? I know you have. And a lot of his fans are going to say, oh, he can sue you, whatever. Well, I've been messaging him. You guys can check it out. So he sees the messages. He knows. He blocked me. Why? I mean, I thought you had the power to sue me, right? Obviously, I gotta say this to Ricky's audience. Nope, he don't. Because he has this reputation for years. For years. You might scare other people, but you're not gonna scare me. Because you told me that, and we can do a polygraph test whenever you want. You're not gonna fuck with me. I am not the one to fuck with, especially when you're calling me a liar. I live here in 10 years in Philippines. Nobody has called me a liar. I swear that on my own mama. So, number 15, his family calls him out. Yeah, that's the thing, his family calls him out. Check out this clip where his son talks about it.
My oldest son, I have 3 sons, and he was already 29 at the time, and the subject got to dating younger women, and he said I would never date a 20-year-old because he's 29. He goes, I would never date a 20-year-old, and I said if I was living in America, neither would I.
Yeah. You're so beautiful. Hey,
very
look
pretty.
at me here.
Now, you can notice not only his son, but his family. He looks creepy, like the creepy uncle that you're gonna meet at the family reunion.
I like your hand.
Yeah, it's nice.
This is my first time in my life.
Yeah, it's nice.
This is my first time in my life.
Check out the videos in his specials, family specials, where he's with his family and he's recording. It's like they don't want anything to do with him. His children, whatever, they're like, yeah, whatever, do your own. They're calling him out and they see his blogs. I don't know what Dorothy, his mom would think of this. Because if my mom saw me with a girl like B, she would smack the God,
You have to be willing
she
to
would
be the
smack
mentor,
me
the teacher.
upside the head so bad, she will literally mop the floor with me. I know you guys are not gonna be like, oh yeah, my daddy's a blogger. What does he do? What does he cover? You know, you guys are gonna be quiet about it. Definitely, you guys are gonna be quiet about it for sure.
This baby shark.
Huh?
This baby shark.
Yeah. Baby shark. Baby shark. Baby shark. Baby shark. Hello.
Number 16, scared of taking women out of the Philippines. Yep.
The less interaction that a girl has had with expat foreigners, the better.
This is the one thing. He is very scared, very insecure. So he always advises people not to take women from the Philippines to America.
Your whole plan from the get-go was to bring her back to your country. Well, now the dynamics are completely different. Wow, she's exotic. And a lot of, especially younger women, cannot handle all of a sudden being flirted upon every time they go to the grocery store, put gas in the car, walk to the park, be at the gym. They're just not used to that kind of attention.
And if you love the girl, if the girl's very smart, and if you truly love her, why don't you take her to the States if she wants to, right?
If she wants to get married, have kids, and then move to your country, and you want to stay in the Philippines, well, 2 out of 3, I'm telling you, it's not going to cut it.
This guy, oh no, what if she finds another guy? He's like, what if she finds another guy? She's not, he's so insecure because he's ugly. He looks like a frog. That's why he's insecure. That's why he advises people not to tell him to go back to the U.S.
So it's a very common thing here, and if a guy wants to have that, I would recommend that they stay in Asia.
Because his lies will be debunked easily. There are a lot of actually legit couples out there who like Ricky and who actually did find love, but they're not in an age gap relationship. Number 17, he doesn't realize that he is a pervert. He doesn't realize it. That's cold facts. He doesn't realize that he's a freaking pervert. No matter how many times you're going to tell him, no matter how much video proof you have of him saying these things, teacher mentorship relationship, teacher student relationship, little creepy things like that. Go down to the mercado where you're going to find a puss, really making a bad name not only for Hispanic people but for Americans as well. Because the guy is creepy. And B, if you're watching this, look at all these things. So from what you can gather, he's going to leave you. He's not going to take you to the States. And he's not going to marry you. And he's not going to give you any children for a fact. So I don't know why you're with that shitbag. That's going to be temporary. And the only thing you're going to get is trauma.
It's a lot like fishing.
Now again, this is Andy Omar with my Ricky Bellis review.
Well, high school dating.
Definitely. I would love to hear your opinions, everything. Peace.
Teacher-student type of relationship. Help her grow. She's like this little sapling, and you need to protect her, water her, nurture her. Oh, it's posing right next to you.
Here's what you do. Get out the Google map, take a screenshot of it, and using the little drawing tool, start circling all the popular spots. All those places you circle, now go to somewhere in between those places. Go to the small cities. Go to places that, you look at it on the map and you're like, well, gee, nobody talks about this place. Try to observe her for 5 minutes from like 30 feet away. I mean, not in a creepy way. You want to observe her when she figures nobody's watching. I've had times where I've watched a woman, don't come at her with pre-formulated sentences you're going to roll off. Some bravado or fake personality that gives you a shell to hide behind. It should be sincerely from your soul.
I mean, to the point where they actually think that they're somehow better looking in the Philippines than they were back home. They actually think that they're some kind of magical playboy or something. Why? And it's just not true. The smaller the age gap, the higher the chance that marriage will succeed. It all stems from his insecurity of thinking, well, gee, you know, I don't want her learning anything. She might get smart enough to leave me. Well, if he's that much of a not of a catch, if he's that insecure, you know, it speaks more about himself than about her. Even if she entertained the idea, her parents are not going to like this. They're very traditional, and they're not going to like the idea of their 20-year-old daughter or 24-year-old daughter or even their 26-year-old daughter marrying a guy or even dating a guy who's like in his 50s or 60s.